Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. Now of course this year's Money in the Bank is just around the corner, of course being held in my home country of England, and I cannot wait. And I'm sure as a WWE fan you're super pumped, super hyped for this year's event as well. And the match card is shaping up to be pretty tasty. I like the fact that they've added a few matches. It means that of course us UK fans are going to get to see Ronda Rousey, which is pretty cool, and also the fact we're now going to get treated to an IC title match between Riddle and Gunther. Gunther, my future Royal Rumble 2024 pick. I've said it. I've committed to it. See if that changes when, of course, we get later on during the year. Okay, this is like miles away, but I'm just putting it out there right now. That's how high on Gunther I am at the moment. And after seeing Gunther versus Sheamus back at Clash at the Castle live in person, I'm sure even this match is going to deliver. Now that being said, out of the whole entire match card, and this is including the main men's and women's Money in the Bank briefcase matches, I'm most looking forward to Finn Balor versus Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight title. I really am. I think this is shaping up to be an absolute banger. I cannot believe WWE have waited 7 years to play out this storyline. For those of you who don't know, of course, in 2016 SummerSlam, Finn Balor, Demon King Finn Balor, defeated Seth Rollins. He wasn't Seth freaking Rollins at the time, and then he went to go and say that, to become the first ever Universal Champion. And sadly, the next night, he had to give up that title. And Seth Rollins walked right past Finn Balor back in 2016 and laughed at him. And Finn Balor, of course, has never forgotten that. And you can't really ignore the fact that since that moment, Finn Balor, in terms of the main event title scene, hasn't really been there. He's been pretty much a ghost in it. I know he got a shot for Roman's belts, or belt at the time. I think it was just the Universal title at the time. Yes, it was. And of course, lost. But he's been a ghost in the world title scene. And Finn Balor is an absolute weapon. It seems now, since joining the Judgment Day, it's refreshed, reset Finn Balor's career. And now, especially after that promo on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, you can't really even look at Finn Balor as an underdog. This is going to be a lethal Finn Balor. You can't forget what he said in that promo as well. The fact that Seth wants to see the same man that he fought 7 years ago, and that Finn said, that guy's gone. That guy is dead. Does that mean that Demon Finn Balor, because that was the version that Finn Balor went with when he took on Seth, of course, at SummerSlam 2016, does that mean he's dead? Does that mean we're going to get a new version of Finn Balor, a new gimmick, a new demon? That promo, just listen to how meaningful it was, how dark it was, how sinister it was. He wants revenge. He's not going to roll over. Now, one thing's guaranteed, this match is going to be a banger regardless. From a pure pro wrestling standpoint, Finn Balor and Seth freaking Rollins in the ring, two of the best in the industry, in my personal opinion. So if we don't get anything else, we're still going to get treated to that, where we just get a simple, clean victory. Now, in terms of outcome, I actually believe that it'll be pretty predictable. I think Seth freaking Rollins is going to retain. I don't think it would be a popular decision after, a month or so. There already to be a title change. WWE want to make this title meaningful. They want to make it mean something. To have Seth lose, for there to be a title change in the UK, typically something WWE don't do very often. Of course, we don't get events over in the UK very often. Hopefully that's changing moving forward. And of course it gives the title more credibility. And then cue the return of Drew McIntyre. That would make sense. The match is done and dusted. Seth wins, and then we just get this stare down between Drew and Seth. We kind of know, without it being confirmed, that we'll get Drew versus Seth at SummerSlam this year for the World Heavyweight title. That would be pretty cool. You got to think about it logically. Drew McIntyre appearing in the UK is going to get a massive pop, so you can't just turn him heel. You can't just return the Scottish psychopath version of Drew McIntyre, which I want to see back. You can't really do that. I don't think it would really work. I'll never say never, but that would be the kind of obvious pick, I think, in terms of the outcome of what's going to go on between these two, in Finn and Seth, and then the aftermath with Drew McIntyre. But Triple H and WWE are super high on Finn Balor. The Judgment Day, you can't argue, are one of the most popular factions in recent memory. They're getting booked really strong, and it's done wonders for the careers of all of them. Rhea, I mean, wow, she's gone to superstardom. Dom, the heel heat that guy gets, he's the top heel in the business. It's simple as that. Wow, in WWE anyway. And then, of course, Damian Priest, they booked him really, really strongly. He could potentially be an outside pick for the men's Money in the Bank match. And imagine if Finn won and then Damian won, or even if Finn lost and Damian won the briefcase. That tension between the Judgment Day, oh, you could cut it with a knife. Now, of course, the big question is this going to go on last? Is this going to be the main event of Money in the Bank? You probably think so. And if that's the case, you can guarantee something big is going to happen, or a turn is going to happen. The likely pick, of course, is going to be Seth retains and then Drew McIntyre returns. And then we get this stare down between Seth and Drew, hints towards a match between the two of them at SummerSlam maybe. But we can't also write off the possibility of a triple threat. Drew versus Seth versus Finn down the line. Of course, this is assuming Finn loses, but that's the more likely pick. But what if WWE go down this screwjob route where Drew costs Seth and Finn wins? What if Finn debuts an entirely new gimmick? We get a new evolved version of Demon King. After all, he said it's dead. That guy is gone. So is he going to bring a new demon? Like, this is a dark version of Finn Balor. We know how high WWE and Triple H are on Finn Balor. So what if they go all in? Like, what if we see a title change? I think it's very, very unlikely. It's definitely some fantasy booking. The likelihood is Finn loses. Potentially Damian Priest wins Money in the Bank. And then you've got that tease within the Judgment Day. The friction we know there is between Damian and Finn. Because for me, there's never really a standout leader. You do wonder whether it's Damian Priest, the leader of the Judgment Day, or Finn Balor at times. Like, it's not definite who is the leader. So it's a sort of seems like there's this fight for power. But it's super tasty, because we don't know how the outcome of this is going to go down. Predictably, we think Seth. The bookies think Seth. I mean, they've got Seth at 1-4 on, I believe. So, majority of bookies believe that Seth is going to be the victor. Majority of us fans believe Seth is going to be the victor. But what if there's more in store? It all depends on what character Finn Balor brings out. If he brings out a new, darker version of himself, an alter ego, then you got to think, why would WWE debut that and then have him lose? But at the same time, you can't really have Seth lose. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that there are only really two legitimate people that stand the chance of deframing Roman Reigns. I don't think it's going to be Solo. I don't think it's going to be Jimmy or Jay. I think it's either going to be Cody Rhodes finishing his story or Seth freaking Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins literally lives rent-free in Roman Reigns' head. And he would be a very popular pick to dethrone Roman Reigns. Undoubtedly, the history is there. And WWE, after all, is all about storytelling. Long-term storytelling with Triple H in charge as well. And that's what I love about this whole match as well. 7 years in the making. It's just going to be super, super tasty. But it all depends what they're going to do with Seth Rollins moving forward. I can't see him keeping that World Heavyweight title for like a year plus. I do think it will change. There will be a title change at some point this year. But it all depends on the plans they have for Seth at the back end of that. If Seth takes on Drew at SummerSlam for the title, somebody's got to lose. Or you can't rule off the possibility of the Money in the Bank briefcase being utilised at some point. It could be utilised on the very night. And talking of night, LA Knight could potentially win. But would he cash in on Seth Rollins on the night, who's a babyface? And let's face it, LA Knight is pretty much a babyface. He's a heel on paper, but we're all cheering him. So that wouldn't really work. He ain't going to be cashing in on Roman Reigns, is he? I highly doubt it. So, of course, we might be able to look into this a little bit more when we know who wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. If it were to be Logan Paul, imagine Logan Paul cashing in on Seth, getting revenge for WrestleMania. Wow, I say revenge. He lost fair and square, but hey, stranger things have happened. What do you think? Get down in the comments section, share your thoughts and opinions. And as always, it'd be very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. Also got some pretty awesome news. I did announce this on my socials. But from August the 1st, I will be going full-time, or putting full-time into this channel anyway. So that will mean the return of the post-Raw shows,